and thank you for joining me for Where I'm From 197 with Elissa. What have you been reading? I read What My Father and I Don't Talk About, 16 Writers Break the Silence, edited by Michelle Philgate. I really enjoyed it. He edited What My Mother and I Don't Talk About, and I thought this was a wonderful follow-up to people. Elissa, I am approving your request. Here you are.
Hi, how's it
Hi.
going?
Pretty good. How are you? The dog knows
Uh,
it's time to
I
bark.
know, exactly, exactly. Someone just pulled up. Things are happening. Yeah. How's
Yeah,
it
they
going?
seem to know that
Yeah,
you don't want them to.
I know. Apple needs to work on this.
Um, I'm doing pretty well. I was out of
Okay.
town last week on a family vacation, and that was lovely.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Well,
yeah,
welcome back. Yeah.
yeah. How about you?
So we have our one vacation coming up in a few weeks, but I got a very distressed note from one of my sons who's at sleepaway camp. So it's that's been my day. It's okay. Either way, we'll all get through this.
Yeah, I mean,
Trying to
there's not
yeah.
much you can do, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, who knows? Exactly. It's like I feel like if I see care coming, speaking of care coming
mhm.
from the staff, then yeah, then this is all good experience. But if like the staff is dismissive of this, then I would be like, do I need to
Yeah,
get him? I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is very important for our children to be loved and cared for by other people.
Yeah, yeah. So if it's hard, but he's being cared for, good.
Yeah,
But if it's like
right,
he's feeling totally on his own,
right.
then I don't know. We'll
Right. Then
figure
it
it out.
isn't
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
No, I
exactly.
mean that is I think that is one of the things as parents that we grapple with, right? Like
Yeah, totally.
yeah, yeah, because you want
Yeah.
them to have their own experiences in their own life, but you also
Yeah.
don't want them to feel abandoned.
Right, exactly. So we'll figure it out. He's there with a friend, so at least they have
That's
each
nice.
other. It's like, yeah. A war buddy, yeah. So yeah, yeah.
Um, so I just read your poem again. It's beautiful. I'm really
Oh,
excited
thank
to
you.
hear you read it. And yeah, I just read the book by Bess Kalb. Um,
Oh, about
I
her grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so
I
it
forgot what
made
it's
me,
called. Yeah,
yeah, it just made, I was like, oh, this is sort of, it all just felt related.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, but anything else you'd like to say or anything before you read your poem?
No, the only thing is I don't have a copy of my poem right in front of me. Did I miss that instruction? I think I did.
No, no, you just have
Oh,
to read it. So, do you have it or no?
I can run and get it so fast. I like missed that one beat. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ready to get
Okay.
it so
Okay.
fast. I'll talk about the
Apologies.
other book I just
Talk
read.
about Michelle Philgate. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, Michelle Philgate. So I read this, and two writers who have been here on Where I'm From, Kelly McMasters and Joanna Reckhoff, had essays in here, and it was such it was kind of special to read their essays because, of course, it's about their fathers and where they're from. So it felt kind of like, oh, I'd already had a sneak peek into where they're from. And Kelly McMasters' essay was also featured in the Sun this month, so I read it there, and it was such a beautiful love letter to her father. And anyway, if you have a father, which many of you do, you might find the book emotional. I did, and I mean, I had a very complicated relationship with my father, and it touches on all those things. So I liked it a lot. Have you read either of those books, Alyssa? What
I
I
haven't. They're like
mm,
in the orbit of books that I'm gonna
mm,
read one day, but I
yeah,
haven't read them yet. Yeah.
yeah, they're good.
Did
I mean, I
yeah.
really they're Michelle does a great job of editing them.
Yeah.
I
Did
mean,
you read the mom one too?
yeah, I
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
and they're not so, it's 15 or 16 essays. It's not so much that you just feel like, oh, I can't read all this, but
Right.
it's a lot of different perspectives. And um I don't know.
Yeah.
I like, obviously I like memoir, and
Yes.
uh so it's right up my alley. So you have your poem.
I do. I'm ready.
Okay,
Late but ready. I'm starting now.
sure, whatever.
Great. I am from conversation, from humor and no boundaries, and everything and nothing, always, never, always mattering. I am from not homes, relationships, constricting but the light got in. I am from too muchness, sobbing to sentimental songs about the old country, dancing to sentimental songs about the old country, joking, joking that sometimes went too far. I am from kvetching and kvelling, which the best of the best could do at once. I'm from patriarchs and matriarchs who had to make themselves visible, not always healthily so. I'm from a place that we don't know the name of. I'm from a place I know the name of, but it kept changing and changing, and that didn't bother me because I had no attachment to it in the first place. I'm from such places, places in which one wonders what it's like to really feel tethered to a place. I'm from salty food and close talkers. I'm from never enough food, and then never enough food. I'm from not a place, but a people where words and relationships were the artifacts available, imperfect, sometimes sharp, sometimes inscrutable, but all we had, so we carried them and carried them and carried them. And if you look at my palm, my eyes, hear my laugh, watch me cry, see the way I hold my children, you can see the impression they've made.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you
That
for
was,
this.
go ahead.
No, it was such a fun activity, like just felt like a moment out of my day
Mhm.
that felt so special. So thank you for
No, I'm
inviting
glad
me
you
to do
had that
this. Yeah,
experience. I that certainly would be the hope of it for me
yeah,
is just to give people a window into where they're from and also who they are now, and how that
yeah,
overlaps, which your poem definitely did. And I thought it was such a beautiful meditation on being from the people that we're from.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, and it was just such a wake-up call to me in a way. I mean, it's not that I've never thought about this before, but I really don't feel like a deeply kind of tethered to any specific geographical place.
Mhm.
And I've always really deeply wondered like what that's like. And
Mhm.
but that like diasporic energy is its own thing to feel tethered to and kind of its
Mhm.
own mental map and practical map of like how to live and how to be in the
Mhm.
world.
Mhm. It made me think of like when people say, "Oh, I'm not a religious Jew, but I'm a cultural Jew." Like that being a part of the culture is its own tether for sure, for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. And even our notions of like religious
Mhm.
Jew really come from understanding Judaism through a Christian lens
Mhm.
because Judaism wasn't like one thing in that sense, one
Mhm.
one religious path for like most of its history. It was all of
Mhm.
the above. It was, an octopus with many tentacles. But
Mhm.
then now that we view it like it's for a very good reason, for obvious reasons, but sometimes misleading reasons. It's been
Mhm.
categorized as a religion so much that people feel like they have to say, "Oh, I'm not
Mhm.
really Jewish, but I love being a Jew." And it's like, no, you're Jewish. It's all of it. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, it's trying to explain ourselves to other people,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
And in a way that in the language that you feel they might understand.
right.
And then they don't lots of times anyway. I mean, I've just
Yeah,
found myself doing that a lot in my life. Like, oh, I'm trying to explain this in a way that maybe you'll be able to digest it. And then at some point you start realizing, oh, it doesn't really matter how I explain it. Like either you're interested in understanding or you're not. Doesn't matter how I explain it.
right. I think that's right. And I think now this very like personal emotional experience is for very good reason being discussed and refracted through this like horrible war, this horrible crisis in Gaza. And
Hmm.
so it's almost like less space, and I get it. I'm not resentful about this. There's like a real deep humanitarian crisis happening right now. Way too many
Hmm.
people are dying. So like
Hmm.
it's okay that this isn't my time to like explore like homelessness as a Jew. But
Hmm.
and there's also people really talking about like have politicized diaspora in a way which for me it's always been a kind of poetic state and
Hmm.
not something that's
Hmm.
felt political. It feels very
Hmm.
outside of politics. So it's yeah, it's kind of a strange moment. I mean, for every Jewish person, really every person like navigating all this right now, what feels kind of like in your guts, like in somewhere in the back of your head, subconscious, like your strange identity as a Jewish person, and then suddenly having to map it on to like the political reality and geographic reality, but also wanting to because there's something very real at stake. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. And I think it's also important to talk about your experiences and your identity. Like, because I think there is this like temptation when things are so fraught to just disappear.
Yeah, no, I think that's and I kind of have in this sense. I mean, not really, but yeah, no, it is. It's. I guess it's really yeah. It's just so tricky. It's
It's really, I mean,
really,
I am
really,
not Jewish, so
yeah,
I'm not Palestinian.
yeah,
Like, I'm not speaking from any
yeah, yeah,
other than just the horror that
yeah,
most of us are feeling at what is
yeah,
occurring,
yeah. No,
and
it's
in Gaza, in this country, in Sudan. I mean, all
yeah,
there's terrible things happening, but I think that, there is this temptation of like, oh, well, what I'm going through or what I experience or my story is not significant. But I think there is something important about continuing to share our stories and ourselves because it's like it's adjacent to silence,
yeah. No, it's
and
true. And really, like this has informed all my writing on care so much because I do
right.
really believe that I'm like from relationships. I mean, that's
Yeah.
like that relational identity is way top of the identity
Hmm.
pyramid for me.
Hmm.
And geography, I think, is like probably bizarrely low for me. You know, it's like I grew up in LA, but raised by New York Jews in LA, so that never quite fit together.
Hmm.
I didn't ever particularly feel like the modern nation state of Israel is a home of sorts for me. That
Hmm.
never was like in my body or my mind or soul or spirit
And
in
we
any
didn't
way. Yeah.
have the birthright. Like, I was too old for my peers to be doing that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if where you fall on that continuum, because then I have younger friends who did that, and that's such a
Yeah.
different experience, I think, of Israel too, like having that
Totally.
trip.
Yeah. But it's interesting. I know a lot of friends now who grew up really in like deeply Zionist homes or
Hmm.
going to like these Zionist socialist summer camps, which is the other interesting intersection, because very left
Right,
but Zionist.
right. Which you see in LA too, and lots of
Yeah.
communities with this sort of
Yeah.
the meeting of the very left and the very right.
Right.
Hmm.
So then now they're like, you know, they're so mad at Israel, and but it's like
Hmm.
because I never felt, I don't have that kind of wave of feel, like I don't feel like I lost something because I never felt
Right,
like that was like my home in any sense, but I
right.
feel all the deep shame and tragedy and wish nothing more for this thing to friggin' stop and the leadership to change. Yeah, so I think it's like for me, this is such a beautiful strength of not feeling particularally tethered to a
Hmm.
geographical
Hmm.
place,
Yeah.
is feeling like realizing how much the relationships are a
Hmm.
key part of it. And I think so much of my interest in care and feeling like care was like flattened, whether by being ignored or being by sentimentalized, was kind of diminished by all parties.
Hmm.
And what makes it so interesting is that like these relationships are, yeah, they are complicated geographical terrains, right? There's mountains and valleys and deserts and floods and beautiful
Hmm.
streams with
Hmm.
blackberry bushes lining them, like all the things we get in any kind of
Hmm.
physical landscape, we get in the relational landscape, the good and the bad, the sweetness and the
Hmm.
bitterness.
Hmm.
And that that's what shaped me and formed me in
Hmm.
every sense, and that's
Hmm.
really like I feel deeply like I'm from relationships.
Hmm.
And I do think being like an American Jew is a huge part of that. And
Hmm.
so many American Jews moved to the States from Eastern Europe, and like it was like immediate intentional amnesia. No one knows where they're really from. No one
Yeah,
even knows often what their original last names were. Like and this
right,
wasn't like they
right.
were like they wanted to forget. So,
Yeah.
and I have a master's in Latin American studies, and I studied a lot of like, I was always really interested in diaspora. So how do people
Mm.
when they move to America like kind of keep their culture with them? And I just realized what a profound difference it is to leave a place but have that place still exist,
Mhm.
and to have people still speaking your language there, and to leave a place but then kind of not have that place exist anymore, which is what
Mhm.
happened with like Jewish migration. I'm talking, turn of the century, turn of the
Yeah.
20th century largely. And that you left this place, you left where your home, in Eastern Europe.
Like post pogrom or pogrom.
Yeah,
But so
exactly.
sure.
And then it
Hmm.
just didn't exist. Like, and
Yeah.
people didn't speak Yiddish there
Yeah.
anymore. So, there's such a crazy radical rupture. And I think like the pain and trauma of that is absolutely infiltrating in ways that people realize and not realize into all the different ways people feel about Israel right now, how
Hmm.
hard this is to talk about. So
Hmm. Hmm.
it's in us. But again, for me, like there's just such beauty and strength in the diaspora experience. And in so many ways, while many of our like relationships to places are very real and create really deep sense of purpose and meaning, a lot of our like relationships to places are kind of like imaginary in some way and can hurt us because like we this is, we see it happening now in many places. Like we're over invested in claiming this space as ours and being unwilling to share it or thinking like it has to stay exactly the same. Like immigrants can't come in America. Israel cannot be a democratic state where Israelis and Arabs
Hmm.
live side by side. Like it cannot change because it's like this place is so connected to my identity.
Hmm.
And if like this way I grew up, that was like fucked up in its own way for sure. But it like it's just the sense of like, no, 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 I'm like I don't have ownership over this like geographical or physical space. I have like ownership and investment in my relationships, and
Hmm.
that's where my identity is going to come from.
Hmm.
And it allows for I think more fluidity and porousness about our ideas of what any specific like place should look and feel like, who should be able to live there, what the rules should be, etc.
Well, and I think it's embracing the arbitrariness of all of these borders.
Yeah,
And and I think for some people that is just anathema. They're like, I can't even contemplate that any of this is arbitrary, even though it completely is.
right,
And I find it so interesting living in Los Angeles. Like, it used to be Mexico, everybody.
right.
I don't
Like
really,
It's called
yeah,
Los Angeles,
it's in the name.
Yeah, San
So
Francisco, like
yeah,
right.
and
Yeah,
most of us are completely fine with that and at peace with it. But I think oftentimes to maybe outsiders, it seems challenging. I don't feel
yeah,
it's challenging at all. It
right,
just is.
yeah,
Um, and it's part of why I love it here so much. So I think I saw like it wasn't a tweet because I'm not on that anymore, but something like that. And it was just saying, for all of you who are worried about being in the minority as white people, I live in Los Angeles. I am. It's great. Don't worry about it. Like that's why
yeah,
I live here.
right.
That's,
Yeah, it's
that's
my
the main
hometown. I
reason.
get it. I get
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
But it's just like it's a wonderful thing. And this is the direction our world is moving in.
yeah,
So whether you like it or not, which obviously a lot of people don't like it, but
right.
do they know it? Or do they just not like the idea of it? Because living it is
I
is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I'm like, want to, right in the sky, like relational ethics, like this,
Yeah.
like start, I think all of our sense of right and wrong in the world to start with human to human relationships and
Yeah.
build from there because these like outside ideals, and you see this, there was a time story of like, they supported Trump on immigration until like their best
Sorry.
friend got detained, and it's like, if you had started with the relational ethic,
Right. Right.
then you wouldn't have supported that. You would have been like,
Right.
I have this like broader ideal and it
Right.
seems right to me. And like, I understand there's some like legitimate fears about immigration. I don't want to dismiss it wholesale. I don't feel them, but like, I understand people's mindset. And I'm not gonna say they're all terrible people, but if
No,
like you
because
start
that's
with
not fruitful either.
right, exactly.
That.
But you start with
Mhm.
relationships, and then you wouldn't have, like, that's like first do the relationships and then see how the ideals fit into the relationships. This is my thing. And I
I
think
agree.
it's
And I
like,
think you really see that in your book. And I do want to give a shout out to your book, When We Care, The Magic of Caring for Others. Is
the
that the subtitle?
unexpected magic.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
sorry.
It's
Subtitles are always like
I don't even like my subtitle that much, but it's okay. I don't think it captures the book.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel all of this. I first of all, I loved your book. And it's you did such a great job of saying so many things I feel and backing them up with research. And there's like no better magic, honestly, than having someone do all the work and do such a great job to
So,
express these things that are in you. Because I do feel that there is this magic, and caring for people is obviously related to relational ethics. Is that what it
yes,
is? You
yes,
know,
yeah,
like, and as you be care for people, your world expands
right.
and your ideas expand. And I thought it was, I mean, so Alyssa has lots of science and data to back all of this up, which a lot of people need. Like,
Right.
I feel it just in the day-to-day reality of my life. Um, when I'm not the main character all the time, it's good for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Right. Because it's like we don't self-actualize really. We do really co-actualize as
yeah,
humans. So
yeah,
it's like this that the understanding of the self comes from connecting with others and
yeah,
caring for our kids or caring for our parents, even though that one for sure can be tricky. They all can be
yes,
tricky. No one, this
yes,
isn't about it being
yes.
easy.
No.
This is
And you
about it being
didn't
meaningful.
And
Yeah.
you didn't silver lining it. It wasn't like that whole narrative, which I think
Right.
obviously that's a red flag when that is the take on
Totally.
it. But it wasn't like that. And it made me think of like, relational trauma is healed in relationship. Like,
Yes. Yes,
you can read
exactly.
books and lots of books, you can do all the things, you can even be in therapy, and all of those are great things. But
Yeah.
it's also really important to be in relationship with
Right.
people.
And trauma is kind of prevented by relationships. Like if
Yeah.
you have something traumatic happen to you,
Yeah.
but you have a relational context to like you have like someone you love or
Yeah.
whether it's a teacher or a parent or friend to kind of acknowledge and process it with you during the moment it's happening, you don't feel alone with it, then often you don't like it doesn't have a long tail. And there's,
Hmm.
science or research. So, right, it can relationships can prevent the trauma,
Hmm.
relationships can heal the trauma. So just in so many directions, like we've become kind of relationship averse culture
Yeah.
and we have when it comes to like parenting caregiving we get to pick between like the trad wife or the girl boss. There's like two ridiculous I'm actually writing about them right now. Like who among us is either a girl boss or a trad wife?
I
There's
know,
really
right?
10 of
Oh,
each in the whole world, and the rest of us are in this messy middle and we value relationships. We maybe to value our domestic space. We value some of like the traditional kind of
hmm,
homemaking stuff, but and we definitely care, about our kids or our loved ones or our
yeah.
parents. And we also do appreciate having I mean, it's all such ridiculous choices. Our language for like
Hmm.
understanding care,
Hmm.
understanding relationships is so flat and narrowing and
Hmm.
pushes us into these
Hmm.
tribes that I think like do not represent reality.
No, and you find that too, I think, in relationship, like
Yeah,
in conversation with people. Obviously, there are going to be people that you're not going to connect with. I'm not saying you connect with everybody, but
right,
just being in a conversation with someone is a very different reality than reading about them online or whatever.
right,
Like
right.
if you met these trad wives or girl bosses, I think it would be different
Yeah, and I think that's exactly right.
than
And
taking in their content.
right, right. It's like who among us is the stereotypical version of us? There might be like a few real
Oh,
like
sure.
narcissists, egomaniacs that are super online and have come to like believe they are their online self,
Hmm.
like there
Hmm.
might be a few, but yeah, the rest of us, I don't know. Woman and particularly care, as a kind of woman's activity has been just so, I mean, men should do care and do care too, but it's
Hmm.
traditionally been associated with women. It's
Hmm.
just been given like such a short end of the stick in every way of how we talk about it, think about it, feel about it, understand it, understudied, under theorized, under discussed, everything.
Hmm.
Yeah.
As with most things with women,
Yeah,
understudied and under
exactly.
theorized. Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm grateful for your book, and I've
Thank you.
recommended it widely, and
Thank you so much.
read it. If you need to feel, if you need to just read it, but also I found it very validating about some of the life choices that I've made as a person who, went to a whatever important college and was going to have a big girl boss career and didn't, made
Yeah,
different choices. And I don't regret it because I did heal a lot and I did find these parts of myself that I had buried in order to pursue sort of the girl boss path because it felt like that was necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
It's like whose value system is
yeah,
that? You know?
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I just remember how angry I was when Lean In came out. I was like, what is this? Like, because I was already out. And I just remember feeling like, why is there more
Yeah.
on our plates? Why is that the solution? Why is that always the
Right.
solution?
Right.
Instead of changing any systems,
Right.
it's
Right.
always just about,
Yeah.
well, just put some more on your back, you
Right.
know?
Yeah. And that's like, right. When you get back to Treadwife versus Girl Boss, it's
Yeah,
like both is just more, you know,
yeah,
it's like just
yeah,
the lousiest choices ever, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And the no commingling of the two, you know, I feel
yeah,
like for so many of us, our work selves, our artistic selves are like challenged and fed in interesting ways by our care selves, and our
of course.
care selves are challenged
Yes.
in interesting ways by our work and artistic selves. Like it's like we've also kind of shut the door on the potential that all these different parts of ourselves actually feed and nourish and provoke each other in
Hmm.
ways that ultimately enrich us. But like that's never part of the story. It's always like, how can you be a mom and an artist? You know, like how? You know, it's like no one else does it, of course. You know, how can you be a mom and a writer? How can you know? It's how do you balance the two? And it's like it's we're just one being. Yeah.
Yes. And I just read a graphic biography of Ruth Asawa, who definitely felt like, and that's like
Yes.
the last thing in the book, talks about how her life was art. Everything in her life was art, including her life.
Yes.
And I just was moved by that. And I feel that, but it was just beautiful to see it. And it was a beautiful book.
So beautiful. I went to the show at SF MoMA
Oh,
just
did
on
you?
Friday and they recreated her living room and she just worked upstairs. I mean, could
Yes.
you imagine like anyone ever, I mean, men or women, she like worked upstairs so she would be around for her kids.
Yeah.
And so in
Six
case she needed to
kids.
make them, yeah, peanut butter sandwich. Yeah.
That is a what for me. Like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, clearly they created some vibe in the house that made
Yeah.
work possible.
Yeah.
Not everyone can achieve it. No
Yeah.
shame if you can't
Yeah.
do it out there, but still like it's such a good example of like
Hmm.
in not subtracting from her genius, you know, and like I mean particularly they mentioned peanut butter sandwich in there, and Betty Friedan mentions peanut butter sandwiches in the opening of Feminine Mystique.
Hmm.
And I think like the Ruth Asawa vision is the goal, right? It's not that we
Hmm.
never want to make the peanut butter sandwiches, we just don't want to only make the peanut butter
Hmm.
sandwiches. And I mean Ruth Asawa made the peanut butter sandwiches and then she made the most amazing sculptures, you know?
Yes.
It's like,
And
yeah,
and that she didn't look back at the end of her life and say, I could have done more.
right. No, instead she brought the kids, they
Yeah.
participated, you
I
know?
mean,
Yeah.
but I think there's that piece that it's like we're always, in this capitalist society, it's always more, 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 more.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
and that isn't always the goal.
Yep.
Um, and just what you were talking about with the mom thing, it just made me think too about all the like I feel manufactured drama between women that you find in
Yeah.
media and stuff like stay-at-home moms, working mom, that we all
Mm-hmm.
like hate each other or whatever, which is just not real.
It's not real
And
at all.
and you go out into the world and you actually start connecting with mothers when you first have children, or I did, it was like you build a whole new community
Yeah.
because it's who's having children when you're having children. And I didn't care where
I,
they gave birth or how they fed their children or
nope.
who took
Not
care. Like, I
I
got
feel
my
like
own
moms, no,
to deal
I
with.
feel like moms are the least judgmental. I have never, I mean, maybe I'm oblivious, but I feel like I've never felt judged by another mom once, and I've never
Mm,
judged. Like some moms show up to school in like a full glam outfit, and some show up in sweatpants. I don't care. You do you,
right,
girl.
right.
Some like are so extra and like bring the most amazing arts and craft projects for the Halloween party, and some like never
Hmm.
sign up once during the year because
Hmm.
like also fine. Like both of
Yeah.
you, like I value both, you know, and
Hmm.
it's some, you know, birthday parties look all sorts of ways. Great, you know, it's just like I've only felt a you do you energy
Hmm.
and also like let's help each other when we can
Yeah.
energy. But for some reason, it's like every single
Yeah.
TV show about moms is
Yeah.
like the bitchy, judgy
Yeah.
moms. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
I mean,
just,
maybe we're lucky. I don't know, but
well, I mean, I have felt like there is judgment out there for sure. There are people, they're not like the close people. I mean,
Yeah,
whatever. I go to school. There is some for
yeah,
sure. If like you're bringing like snack Lunchables or whatever, there are the
yeah.
people who will be like,
Lunch. Yeah,
like I've handcrafted this
yeah,
whatever. And I try to just as a room parent, like I would try to be like, hey, we all have different
yeah,
things we provide,
yep,
and these are all
yeah,
good. So, I mean, there is some, but it's not
yeah,
it's not like the venomous
yeah.
the way that it's presented where it's just like another place where some people do it differently, and they
Right,
might think that's weird that you do it that way, but it's not like people have chosen teams
right.
and are
Yeah,
like have shirts on and are
right.
ready. I mean, the way that they made the sort of, for example, breastfeeding versus bottle feeding
Yeah,
seem was like, no,
right.
no. And there's just so much manufactured ire between women.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree in every direction. Yeah, it's such a shame. It's such
It
a shame.
is.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's manufactured for a reason, right? I mean,
yeah.
it's a yet another
Right,
distraction of
totally.
so.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I anything else you want to say about the poem or the prompt? I've appreciated this conversation.
Yeah, no, I really appreciated it. It was like, it really was just a nice pocket of my day yesterday. And I suggest everyone does. I don't know if all your listeners are starting to do have done the prompt, but it really is just a beautiful exercise and, something you can imagine returning to every 5, 10 years because
Mhm,
I'm
mhm.
sure the answers change.
I think they do. I try to do it once a year, just kind of as an exercise
Yeah,
to put myself in the guest seat too, and to
yeah,
remember what that feels like, because it is much easier being me
yeah,
because I'm not sharing,
right.
such vulnerable things. And even each year, it's just excavating something different
Yeah,
because there is so much to uncover.
yeah, yeah,
Um, well, I thank you for taking the time in your
yeah,
busy
absolutely.
summer. And I'm glad you enjoyed it. And I really appreciated this conversation. And thank you for your book. And I look forward to reading your essay about girl bosses and tradwives
It'll be
because it
out
is.
tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, really? Where is it going to be out?
On Substack, on my Substack. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
And well,
right.
thank you.
Yes. Thank you so
Take care.
much.
As I
Okay.
say, take care, give care. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.